Hello, and welcome to the Panther Tales podcast. I'm your host, Jack Gahan, with co-host Parker Heck.
This is a segmented podcast where each episode will be different from the last, keeping this podcast new and refreshing. Let's head on to our interview.
Welcome Maxwell Schroeder to the podcast for our interview segment.
Hello.
Yeah, that was your cue to say hi if you
Yeah.
wanted to.
Okay.
We have had one person not say hi when we're doing that.
I almost
I
didn't
don't
say
remember
it.
who it was. We've had one person not say hi.
Can we get a fact check on that? No? Never mind. Anyway, so we decided to bring you in because of your affiliations with band. Real quick, would you mind telling the listeners what you play in the band?
I play percussion. So this includes drums, but it also includes things like the xylophone, um, the slapstick, and everybody's favorite, the bike horn.
Okay, real quick, I gotta start my question immediately with what's the bike horn?
It's exactly what you think it is. It's one of those old-timey cartoon bike horns that you honk and it goes like,
Holy cow.
yep. And
You had that as an actual instrument?
yeah,
That's
I got
amazing.
percussion. Well, we did this last year when she actually. Well, we did this last year. We had auxiliary percussion Fridays, where on Mondays and Wednesdays we would warm up on snare drum, and Tuesdays and Thursdays was mallets, I believe. It might have been switched, but same idea. And on Fridays we could play auxiliary instruments for warm ups, and I remember choosing the bike horn, and that was a great time.
So, for a bit of background, for some people who don't know, in most of the musicals as of late, you have done not only percussions, but I remember from Beauty and the Beast, you did how many instruments for that?
Um, Give me a second. To think. There were timpani and bells for the main ones, and then there was a bunch of auxiliaries. There was woodblock. I was supposed, well, it was in the musical, but this didn't happen. I was supposed to fire a pop gun, but we actually, yeah, we did a woodblock as a substitute instead. I hit the woodblock there. Um, a ratchet. I also played at one point. I played that in the wolf scenes. Just all kinds of stuff. Because during that, because for back to the 80s, I was on drum set, and I, of course, did play a little auxiliary percussion when Cash was on the drum set. But for Beauty and the Beast, I we had a outside professional percussionist come in and play the drum set, and I played the timpanis and bells and auxiliary percussion.
So, what's it like to be a part of the band?
Um, it's pretty cool. I really like it. There's some good social events and stuff that we do. Like once a year, we do a hayride at Oak Ridge, and that's pretty good. I think the community's a part of it. Um, it's not the whole part because I really do like playing the drums like a lot. Um, but that's definitely part of it. Most people there are like pretty chill, I feel like. Um, but really, I just like the chance to make the music.
Okay, so you guys went to Crown Point for ISMA, and you ended up getting a gold rating. What was the preparation like for it?
And well, we start, and that's the marching band specifically. Is important to note. Not everyone in band is in marching band. Some schools require everyone in band to join marching band, but we don't here. Um, which the culture's different, obviously, then. But we start our season in July, in the week before 4th of July, with a 4th of July parade camp. And after that, we get a week off, and then we start coming back for summer practices. Those are pretty okay. It's pretty hot in the summer. Um, and we had a couple of turf practices where after there was a soccer game or something like that, we would get to come out to the turf and actually practice on the turf because for most of the season we don't get to, and we were actually next to the tennis courts on a little practice field. The lines got really faded, and it was obviously not the size of a full football field. We had to cut it off the 30-yard line. So we did a couple of turf practices, and the turf practices I would say are probably the single biggest thing that helped us. And you could ask the directors, and they'd probably say the same, because that's when we get to practice all of the little stuff that we don't get to all the time, and we do full run throughs, and that's just good practice.
Okay, so I'm trying to word this in a way to where I'm not sounding like a complete jerk. But so do you, along with the entire band and marching band and all of them, want more people to join?
Or do you even need more people to join?
Yeah, that too.
This is a really rough question because why couldn't you just ask me this question last year? You interviewed me last year. Because last year we were a very, very small band. We had more color guard than instrumentalists for the marching band. And the band classes as a whole, really small. This year, we have a lot of people. They've had to expand where they're putting lockers, and they've had to change organization for a lot of different things. We have different beginner classes for all the different instrument families now. I believe percussion and brass get lumped together because they get along. We have two different high school bands now. We have wind ensemble and concert band. Wind ensemble being a slightly more advanced band that you got to audition to get into. And so before last year, I would have said yes, we need more. We need more people. But now, I'm not sure because we're not like a crazy huge band. Like, I'm bad with school names, but there are some schools that have absurdly huge bands and marching bands, and we're definitely not that size. But I don't know if we really need or want to be. We're pretty good with where we are on people at the moment. Obviously, like a few more people on like some of the more niche instruments wouldn't hurt. Like I would say a few more of the just maybe a little bit like better instrument diversity. Uh, just a slightly better variety of instruments, I guess. But other than that, I wouldn't say we really need. We don't need more people. I mean, more are always cool. Obviously, we could use more, but we aren't in desperate need of them like we were last year.
Is there anything you would like to say on your own terms?
Um, Not really. Just thanks for having me on. Um, Not really.
All right. I think it's time for us to go on to our next segment.
I'd agree.
Can you survive in a desert oasis with your math teacher, or maybe even find a way out of the school at night? These are some strange scenarios.
This segment will feature either me or Jack, or both of us, giving the other person or each other, I just said the same thing twice,
Who cares?
hypothetical scenario in which we must give a response and how we would deal with that scenario.
So you said that you had a good scenario for me?
I have one, Jack. My scenario for you is you're sitting at home, you're in your room, your phone starts receiving texts from a random number who claims to be you 7 years from now. Do you follow their advice? Do you believe them?
I think I first asked for like
Confirmation.
confirmation. Like I asked questions like, "What did you get on this test for this exam?"
Did
What
you
did
get
you-
on your PSAT junior year on October 15th,
No, not quite.
2025?
I feel like I'd probably ask like, what is your first cat's name? And like if it does like things that you couldn't like search and figure out about me, and if that was proven true, I mean, I'd first ask some questions about time travel or how this worked, but like all honesty, I think I would just simply ask, are you living a good life? If the answer is yes, I don't follow the advice to make sure I stay on whatever path I'm given, unless them messaging me is part of the path that they took, which it's a paradox. Um, I'd also ask about that, get the answer from that, and go. If they did not get messaged, I would not follow the advice. If they did, then I would follow the advice.
So like, you wouldn't want to know like what you're doing 7 years from now.
I mean, I would only want to know if that future version of me got messaged when they were at my point in time. Because if not, then if I know, then stuff might happen differently. Things might not be the same. Paradoxes, timeline, and all that I don't need to go into because quantum physics is way out of my pay grade. Even though I did impulse buy a book on quantum physics 2 days ago. This is not a joke, by the way.
Can we fact check that? Yep.
I'll
yeah,
send you a picture
yeah,
of it
yeah.
if you want to include it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
we got it right here.
Yeah, it's true, it's true. So my scenario for you, Parker, you have just been placed on the top of a board game. You look around, you wait a second, you realize that you are the size of the pieces in this board game. Not only that, you are in that game. Like, you are one of the characters in that game. How are you going to survive Candyland?
So you put me in California Girls music video by Katy Perry.
I did?
You did.
I'm referring to the board game. Is that actually in that?
Yes.
Okay, Katy Perry is not there to specify.
So yeah, what am I doing? Just in general?
Yeah, how are you gonna survive in a land full of candy?
Do I get to play the game?
I mean, yeah, the Candy Brick Road is there.
I don't want to play the game. I like Candyland. I'm
I
decent
mean,
at it. It's
what do you mean you're decent at it?
it's a board
it's a
game.
luck-based
Yeah,
game.
it's
There's
yeah.
no skill in Candyland. You
But-
simply flip once you shuffle the deck, the winner has been decided.
Yeah, pretty much.
That game is more or less just let's see if I win. Like you
So,
could
like,
put gambling. You
what-
could gamble Candyland.
What happens if I lose?
What happens if you lose?
Am
Well,
I
what
just
happens,
stuck there until I win?
I mean, what happens if you lose in Candyland? Other than people shame you. I mean, hey, does the
The
fudge
game is
monster
over.
get you? You just have to survive
Honestly.
there, live there now. If anything, you're a gingerbread man now. That's what all the pieces are. You're a gingerbread man.
Yeah. I mean, I'd play the game. Like, there really isn't that much to it.
That is true. Chop down the candy cane forest, why don't you?
Well, with that, Jack, I think it is time to head on to our next segment, Bookmarked.
Have you ever wondered the deeper meanings behind some of the stories or poems that you've read? Well, we'll answer that for you.
Because today we will be discussing the short story, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, and why you should read it. This is Bookmarked.
So this is another short story that I picked out for us to read.
Mostly because I can't find one.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest.
This one we decided to read because it has kind of meaning in our now day-to-day life, as this is the story about an AI who took over the world and now torments the last 5 human beings on Earth. Warning, this is...
Don't read it in school.
Don't read it in school.
That's
it's a bit
really about it. It's
not quite appropriate. It's still
Nah.
all right to read, but careful because of some choice descriptors.
yeah. So there is actually quite a bit that we can't talk about.
We're just gonna talk about
We're gonna
the
talk
deeper
about
meaning.
Yeah. So like Jack said earlier, it's about an AI taking over all that. Jack already said that. I'm not going to elaborate more on that. Deeper meaning of it, especially today, it goes hand in hand. Yes, you said that already. Yeah. Anyways, this is why you carry in these segments.
So, kind of the deeper premise of this story is each of these five people are tormented in such a way that they are different from how they originally are. Like, a smart scientist is turned into a dumb ape, basically, through precise torture. One guy just isn't tortured with, believing that his torture is that he's not being tortured and he's delusional. He's not sane. Um, and the whole premise of the story, they're tired of it. They've been there for an unknown amount of time. So they decide at the end of the story, the only way to truly like escape is to kill each other. That way, Am or the what was
AI.
the AI? Yeah, but what does Am stand for? Something master computer. The Allied master computer, which I was right. Um, I mean, you weren't wrong.
I was going to say
So,
it.
um,
Anyways,
okay. One of the main points in this is Am despising humanity for basically giving him life but no ability to feel, to taste, to experience things. Pretty famously from this book, there is the hate speech that it's called. It's basically his rant about how much he despises and hates humanity and all that there is. Parker, if you wouldn't mind reading that out.
Hate, let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live. There are 387.44 million miles of printed circuits and wafer-thin layers that fill my complex. If the word hate was engraved on each nanoangstrom of those hundreds of millions of miles, it would not equal one billionth of the hate I feel for humans at this micro instant for you. Hate, hate.
So, he generally doesn't like humans. Um, One of the reasons why he hates humans, he hates what they did to him. But the one thing that he kept was his name because of the Latin phrase "cogito ergo sum." I think, therefore I am. One fun fact about this is there is like a point and click adventure game for I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, and one of the coolest facts about that game is the author himself, uh, Harlan
Harlan.
Ellison, actually voices Am so he could get the right, so he could best depict the amount he hates like humans in that speech when he says it in the game, which I think is cool.
Yeah. I mean, that really goes to show how much he tried to put into not just the game, but also the story. He depicts it very well, I will say. Speech is very powerful and full of hatred. But no, I mean, I will say, it was a very descriptive story. Extremely descriptive. But no. So, you have anything else, Jack?
I don't think so. Other than I think it's time for the weekly report. It's time for the weekly report.
In this segment, we'll discuss the happenings at Griffith, including our first topic, which
Yeah.
the high school and middle school Scholastic Book Fair.
So for some of you, you might remember us on a previous archive adventure talking about the Scholastic Book Fair and how much we wanted it to return to Scholastic book fair to the high school.
Guys, it happened.
We had no preliminary knowledge on it coming to Griffith.
They
that
announced
episode,
it 2 days after we recorded that.
and it wasn't even us who like made it happen. It was just more of a
It just happened.
it just
It
happened.
just happened.
We actually did visit so we could talk about it. They did bring young adult books, we'll say, like Refugee.
There were
Um,
some like novels.
There was a
You can call 'em
decent
that.
amount of books that were just FNAF books.
Yeah.
Depending on how you feel about them, they're like the short story collection of short stories. I've read a few of them. They're fine. They're all right. What do we have next on the list?
So boys and girls soccer had their sectionals. I believe it was last week.
I think that's right. Yes.
Yeah, it was last week.
Last week as of recording on Thursday, October 16th,
Yes.
the
So
day before fall break.
yeah,
We're not going to talk about that in this weekly report because, no. Also, we are not doing a episode during fall break.
yeah. So it'll be a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be like past breaks though. Like the past one between episode 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no. So boys and girls soccer sectionals. Boys team first round they beat River Forest 9-0, which they were fully expecting a win there. They were 100% expecting to move on. Second round they fell to Hanover Central. I believe it was 2-0. So not gonna lie, kind of a heartbreak there for them, but
For them.
for them, I wasn't there, so
Ah.
yeah. But no, in all they had a good season. So yeah. And then soccer, or soccer, they're both soccer, girls soccer. They played. So once again, Griffith played Highland in the first round of sectionals, and girls team ended up losing. I believe it was 4-2.
I think that's correct. Yes.
I could be wrong on that. Um, but so that matchup really determined who was going to win sectionals because I mean this in the best way that I possibly can. Those two teams were about the only good teams in that sectional. So that really determined who was going to win that sectional in the very first round. So second round technically. But yeah, so
So now that we're done talking about that football, let's talk about other football.
American football and our football team. So our football team, have you heard anything about them this year?
Not much, actually.
Well, right now we are sitting at 7-1. I believe. I strongly believe 7-1. Coming off of our last game against Calumet, at time of recording, it was last game at Calumet. We beat them 63-14. The highest scoring game of Coach Mason's Griffith career so far for us. Like highest scoring, like us.
Yeah.
Calumet scored 14 points. I don't know how that happened, but yeah. So overall, pretty good season. Ryan Bullion, our starting QB, starting quarterback, is I believe he's fourth or fifth in the region in passing yards. And then Ventress Tedder and Desmond. I don't know how to say his last name. I'm gonna be honest.
Neither do I.
It starts with an N. He's our other running back, but they're like back to back in rushing yards in the region. So overall, we're having a very good season. At time of recording, we have game tomorrow at Wheeler. That will determine if we win conference or not. And then also will give us a good bridge on what we're going to do in sectionals. So, yeah. And then also lately, Jack, in Panther Press, we have been working on the Boneyard Bulletin
That is correct. We have, for the past week and a half, been working away
2
at
weeks today.
2 weeks today, yeah. Of since Thursday, October 16th, I'm recording this. Um, to get that ready for the public. This should episode might come out before or after. We've had to add on 4 new pages to the bulletin. We've added new ideas, new concepts. We've been hard at work at this. We've been keeping up to date with our stories, making sure everyone gets their job done. People are currently still working on some things. Um, that should be out soon ish. I can't say really when.
It'll be in the next couple of weeks.
Next couple of weeks. I had something else I was gonna say, but I kind of forgot. So I guess
There you
we'll briefly talk about how this Wednesday was the PSAT day. Um, for sophomores and juniors
And freshmen.
and freshmen.
Freshmen.
Seniors got the day off.
Seniors were doing college things all day yesterday. So, I mean, we like to say they got the day off because they didn't have to come to school.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
So that happened. For those who took the PSAT, the scores will come in a few weeks. We will not discuss anything that we saw in the PSAT. We
Nope.
will not discuss our feelings about the PSAT.
Nope.
We are just here to report that happened this week for people who didn't know. And with that, I think we have come to a close on this episode.
see you in episode 8.
We have now recorded this podcast in a long while.
Yep.